Giro for Umbra Games, bringing you a review of Mercenary Kings, played on PlayStation 4. If you know me at all, or if you just haven't picked up on it yet, I'm a pretty big fan of old school games. I enjoy a well-done side-scrolling shooter, I love pixel art, and if you can tie that up with co-op, I'm definitely in. Mercenary Kings on paper has all the ingredients to make a near-perfect game for me, so let's see how it executes. The Kings are a mercenary group, didn't see that coming, did ya? Tasked with taking down the Claw army who have raided and set up military bases on Mandragora Island. You can choose to play King or Empress, with no noticeable difference in playstyle, and you take missions from the coffee-obsessed general, taking you into various areas of the island. There are 10 ranks of these missions, with a total of 112 missions in all. Mission objectives include rescuing hostages, gathering supplies, neutralizing bosses, capturing bosses, and eliminating all threat in an area. At first it felt like each rank was going to be a new zone, but after the second rank or so that fell apart, and you do find yourself treading over the same ground a little bit too much. I guess I should qualify that statement though. You don't have to do every mission to advance and complete the game, so I shouldn't complain that there's extra content in the same area that they presented for the necessary missions. When you take a mission, there's a brief loading screen that shows you your objective and extra objectives for the mission. Sometimes there are also secret objectives to be discovered that give bonus reward money upon completion. You have 3 lives going into a mission, split between you and your co-op partner, with a penalty of 1/4 of your reward money for each death. There are several enemy types, ranging from natives to soldiers to wildlife. There are about 4 boss types that are repeated over and over with various elemental imbuements, and a few unique ones for the big rank-ending missions. Enemies drop materials that you can take back to camp and give to the mod lady for you to equip 2 at a time, granting small bonuses to health generation, attack power, or several others. You can go to the tent guys with the materials and make decorations and flags for your tent. You can take edible drops to the cook for mission-long stat bonuses. Or you can take them to the knifesmith for a new melee weapon, or the gunsmith for armor upgrades and new firearms. The gun creation system in this game is incredible. You can mix and match parts, and they physically change appearance, and each piece affects a multitude of stats including magazine size, bullet type, and active reload areas and speed. Oh, active reload, in case you didn't know, I think that started with Gears of War, where when you hit your reload button, you can help speed it up if you can press the button again in a specific area on a meter. Mercenary Kings adds another level to that, powering up bullets when you hit the green area of the active reload bar. So if I was watching a review and it stopped there, I would be all about this game. So why am I not? I know, like I said, I can't complain about side or extra missions, but I'm going to anyway. Seriously, floating between 4 or 5 objectives for 112 missions gets a little stale. When you split those stale missions across only 6 or 7 environments, the game really starts to feel repetitive. Not only that, but the levels are designed to be a pain. Not a challenge, not difficult. This doesn't feel like negligence, it feels like intentional pain. Sometimes these walls will block your way, which require C4 to destroy. You can only carry 1 C4 at a time, and have the battery power on your radio to call in for 1 additional drop per mission. Not to mention you only have 2 inventory slots, so if you want to be prepared for the chance your route is obstructed, then you must take fewer health items or grenades, and pack in the C4. Not to mention, if you brought health and grenades and need a C4 drop, you have to drop the items you're carrying to free up the slot to pick up the C4. This happens a lot. In order to use items like a health pack, you have to stop and put away your weapon and equip the correct item you want and then press the fire button again, then select your gun from your inventory once more. This is especially tiresome in boss fights. I mean, there are a ton of unused buttons on the PS4 controller. Couldn't they have assigned a shortcut? Another thing is there's one enemy type whose spears just come through walls and can trap you when you're trying to jump somewhere. Some stages have a one-way drop-off that you can't climb back up. Some have a jump where if your gun is too heavy, it's nearly impossible to make it, and you drop all the way down and have to climb back up and try again. Some missions give you 30 minutes to explore, for example, a giant temple that you've been to 10 times, just to have to go to every corner of it again to look for the 8 hostages that happen to be there this time. And yes, you need your C4 again. The missions that require you hunt a boss can have up to 4 or 5 boss spawn points that he switches between every couple of minutes. Some of the stages get pretty decent size, so having to move to the boss's location each time is super annoying. In another example, one of the missions was to eliminate all threat in the area, and some of the enemies were flying, and if you didn't kill them in time, and they despawned, you'd have to wait until they came back again, cross their exact spawn point, like a minute or so after they disappeared, and you may not even know that you're missing it. There are just so many facets to this game that ended up being an exercise in monotony. Next, the aforementioned incredible weapon creation system. The amount of power increase from each ranked new parts is so minimal, and you're often giving up one stat for another. When a game with a crafting system gives you no motivation to farm for extra parts so you can reach an awesome weapon or upgrade, they're doing it wrong. I mean, we'd reach a new rank, check out all the gun parts for the one that might give us just that 5% damage increase, and then just yawn and say we'll get the parts eventually. The same thing applied for the mods. Until the end of the game, every one was plus one thing and minus another. Not like building a character in a role-playing game, for example, like choosing intelligence over strength, but like choosing which negative status effect you want. I'm not sure if maybe the game just wouldn't scale as well. I mean, maybe they wanted to encourage players to go back to complete previous levels to attempt their achievements, like the time trials that are available on every stage, and providing relatively overpowered weapons removes that challenge. But even if that's the case, focusing more on replay value than the player's first experience through the game is also missing the mark. Finally, the co-op is pretty solid. Joining games and inviting up to 3 other players into your game is easy. One person chooses the mission, and as long as your friends have that mission open, you can play together. When you return to your solo mode, your completion is marked, even if you weren't the host. We did have several moments, though, when visiting another person's game, enemies would be warping across the screen or bullets appearing out of nowhere as if adjusting for lag. In all games, this can be very frustrating, but in a fast-paced, side-scrolling shooter, even more so. Looking back, I'd advise if you're going to play this game, focus on the main missions first and then backtrack to extra ones in case you get tired of the game by rank 8 like we did. I love the artwork. Some of the music is absolutely fantastic in that mock chiptune style, and some of the humor is spot on, especially the knife flavor texts. This is my favorite type of pop culture integration in video games. Ones that aren't obviously throwing something in your face, but rather subtle references that make you think. I ended up giving Mercenary Kings a 66 out of 100, including some bonus points for its co-op experience. I think we ended up playing close to 20 hours, only repeating stages upon failure. This was Mercenary Kings for PS4, and Jiro for Umbra Games. Thanks for watching.